Hello, welcome back from spring break. I hope you are all rested and ready to finish out the semester strong. We are going to look at week 11 today. If you'll notice in our readings, we're doing a lot of Dewey Decimal System readings along with call numbers. And this brings up kind of a conversation that I hear a lot of discussion on. It's about whether or not to continue to use Dewey in your library when you're organizing, or if you going to basically a bookstore where you separate by genres or topics or something like that. I just want to state that the stance of our program here is that we continue to use Dewey, and it's for a couple of different reasons. And I've had this conversation with a few of you individually, and then I know that I've given you feedback on some of your assignments with this information. But if I haven't, I want to make sure that you understand that we do not recommend that you use genres because, like, separate your library into genres, because one of our goals is to teach our students how to use libraries. And libraries are organized consistently in the same format, and that's a way that students can go from one library to another and feel comfortable in being able to look for a book and knowing how it's organized. Let's say that you organize your library by genres. Your students never learn to use a Dewey Decimal System. They go into middle school or they change schools, and all of a sudden the libraries are organized in a different way. They're unfamiliar with the organization overall. So staying consistent with the way that we organize our libraries is very important. And another thing to think about, especially in this course when we're learning, MARC records and how to input and catalog and everything that behind the scenes, when you move books around, you have to consider the way that they're going to look in your catalog. Especially if you're in a big school system, your catalog is going to look one way, but if someone uses that catalog, they're not going to be able to find the book based on where you've actually put it if you're using genres or topics or something like that. With the big school districts, if you go in and you try to change the location within your catalog, sometimes other librarians may get messed up with that because they do a lot of copy cataloging within big school districts. You share your MARC records, your cataloging records. So if you go in and change everything and mix it up to the way that you want your specific library to be, it may mess up someone who is using your information later on down the road. So those are things to think about. Again, it's our stance that you continue to use Dewey and the traditional format of organization for your library. But you'll read more about that in this week. You also look at different ways to catalog picture books, electronic resources, and electronic streaming sources. And then there's a couple articles that I want you to read, and also a PowerPoint and a song. You get to listen to the Dewey rap. Looking ahead, what is due this week? You do have your Lesson 11 discussion board forum, and your materials order is due. Looking ahead, you do not have anything due the week of April 2nd. We will meet face-to-face on April 5th, be our third meeting, and we will go over some of the stuff that you've already worked on, that you've already learned, but we'll try to put it in some practice. And then the next big assignment after our materials order will be due the following week, week 13, which is the catalog evaluation. But let's go ahead and look at our materials order and see what that looks like. Again, I've talked to you about using your weeding assignment to help complete your materials order. So if you go into assignments, materials orders is down here, and here's information. So you will prepare a written narrative, which is double space, of the required task 1 through 5. So I've given you a list of everything. Address each task using headings and subheadings, and then follow instructions for 6 through 9. So you're going to look at your community that you did in your community analysis. You've done the weeding, you explored the collection. Then look at identify and explain your selection criteria. Refer back to your spreadsheet of weeded items. Do any of these match selection criteria and need replaced or repaired? So you're going to identify and explain your selection criteria first, and then go back to your weeding list and see if any of those meet that. And if they do meet your requirement, then you can add them onto your materials order to replace them. So select and evaluate resource, creating an initial working list and eliminating any that falls seriously short of your quality criteria. Analyze resources for relevant instructional use. Explain your procedures in the step. This I want you to do a step-by-step explanation. Some of you did a great job with your step-by-step when you went through the weeding process. Some of you just kind of gave me a broad sentence or two. So I really want you to explain step-by-step what you did for number 5. So you are going to continue to look at subject headings. We're great at subject headings now because of our SEERS assignment, and from what I've seen so far, you all were doing a very good job with that. So list the subject headings you'd use when you edit catalog records so that patrons can easily or readily identify the materials. You need to construct an order of at least $500. Remember, I told you in a previous video that I want you to make sure that you use all $500. And then you're going to create a spreadsheet that includes all of these. Refer back to your weeding. Create a column to show the items in step 7 above, which they should be replaced. Include notes, and then a reflection. Make sure that you mention AASL Standard 5.1 specifically in this. You can look at the rubric I have here. And then you will upload it to the Upload Assignments tab. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. And I will see you on April 5th in our face-to-face meeting. Have a great week.